I realized that a lot of people, it's a couple things that go into this, but a lot of people, you can have two people who weigh the same amount and have relatively the same body types, but based on how they wear their skin and their body and their identity will show if you are, like, it would define their ability to attract. Some people wear their bigness or their weight as shame, and they wear the guilt. Like, you can tell that they aren't happy with themselves, they aren't healthy with themselves, they aren't whole with themselves, versus some people wearing it and they have cultivated a love, they have cultivated confidence and happiness and flow within their identity. So like their spirit sits well, their heart, their soul, it meshes well with the bigness, if they're big, the weight of their body. And I find that interesting because typically people who are heavier or way more, or just have more weight, aren't unattractive or anything. They just don't wear attraction. They don't wear it. They don't see it. So therefore it doesn't exist for them consistently. They don't embody, like, some people aren't even meant to be as big as they are, so they will never be comfortable in that skin. That's, like I said, I feel like that's what I was going into the other part of it, which was a spiritual sign that you are doing one or two things. Either there's a lot of work and stuff that you have accrued and haven't worked through in your heart, and you're holding on to that, or a both thing where you're doing it for the bloodline. You carry the weight in the sins of the bloodline, and this has allowed me to look at the people in my life a little differently. Like when I think about my granny, she was a heavy set woman, but I think about all the raising 5 boys, different personalities, different lifestyles, having to keep that cohesive, raising grandchildren, like to be who she was and take on as much as she did. She was gonna be a big mama. Like, that's just what that is. And like my other granny, not to say that she, my mama's mama, not to say that she isn't, she has her own health ailments and stuff, but like, she's more on the smaller side. I don't think she getting thick now, but yeah, I think we're only gonna get so big on that side. So I don't think it actually equates the same. But I would say that she didn't necessarily maintain being a safe space for everybody to consistently, lovingly want to come up. Like, I feel like, I feel like when people, like, they used her until they cared for what they could, and when they got away, they get away. Like, I don't think she facilitates this love that makes you want to stay. And I feel like that's what I kind of feel my mom a little bit. Like, she'll do anything for me. I can get anything from her, but there's just this, she lacks depth. She's only worked herself. She did nothing. She has no awareness of, like, other things in the world besides bullshit that don't really matter. It's just slave mentality type stuff. And it's restrictive, it's distasteful, it's undesirable. Like, when you are a person who has a expanded mind and you constantly are thinking about what you can do next, not just for you but for others, and you're like, I realize people don't think like that. And People are real ass evil. And like, I don't give a fuck at this point. Like, I'm not out here finna say that my mama just coming up against me. I don't think it's her per se. I think it's just when you start listening to the world more than yourself, when you start allowing entities and putting money and valuing the worldly stuff, material stuff, over yourself, the people in your life that could help you get to the material stuff, then you completely miss out on what God is truly doing. We are wealthy, rich, billionaires just by who we are alone. Now, when we go out into this world, when we start to allow people to use our likeness, when we start to allow people to use this and use that, that's when it's up to us to say, that's when we get our value. Like, not get our value, but that's when we get return on being valuable. But I just don't want to harbor any like ill will. You just like, you don't, if you're not like, I don't know what it is fully, and it's going to reveal itself. I don't have to fake the funk. I don't have to pretend. My mama knows exactly why we have what we have and where we are. Like, it's only going to be as good or as bad as we want it to be. And that's for any relationship that I have with anybody. Nobody determines the type of relationship I have with other people besides them. So if you know you did something wrong to somebody, and I know about it, and you decide to move with me a certain way, then yay, you're only solidifying the truth of who the fuck you are, for real. It was only a matter of time before you did something like that to me. It might not be to that capacity. You look at it, a motherfucker would think that they shielding themselves from retribution, judgment, etc. When not, you just solidify why your ass deserves the judgment that will be coming to you. Because, like, ain't no way you finna do something that hide your hand or tell somebody not to talk about that. You cannot do that. You shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have did it. And guess what? You lucky we live in a world, there are a lot of people who will support the bullshit you did. But the reality is, a lot of motherfuckers be out here moving a certain type of way because they get away with it. And the time that they don't get away with it, they want to find blame and guilt with you for not allowing them. Nah, you had your fun. It's time's up. Gig's up. Now, I hope I hope you're happy. Hope you got all that you needed. Got all that you wanted. Hope you benefited. Because I'm done with that. Like, it's nothing. And as I get stronger, as I get more prepared and solidified in my truth and in what God is doing for me, then that's what it is. And I understand that, like, the opposition that I feel really is self-inflicted, because it's like, even though I feel like this feels normal, it feels okay to not be going to a 9 to 5, to just kind of be existing, flowing, crocheting, walking, running, yoga, stretching, eating, sleeping. That feels right. But I also just I feel stuck and stagnant and just like I'm not comfortable. Like, I'm either too hot or too cold. I'm either too sleepy or too energy with nothing to, nowhere to put the energy. It's like there's a lot of misfires seeming to be happening. a lot of wishy-wash, and I'm trying to maintain and, you know, look at my life differently. My workout was good, baby. Okay, so not to shoot no shade, but it's like this girl that I met at work. She's like getting all this food, which is, you don't need more food to be healthy. You need less. But you can't even, if you feel like yo big ass, I'm not trying to be funny, but y'all gotta hear it like this. If you are 200, 300 pounds and you feel like missing one fucking meal or not eating for one day, it was gonna make you die, you are more so a part of your problem than the actual physical weight. You know, that shit, that you are, your mindset, your heart, your outlook, your resistance, your restriction, your rigidness, your inability to see past your stomach, your immediate gratification desires is the problem. And people aren't going to tell you it like this because they don't want to be a part of the whole body shame or the whole probably feeling like they're being negative or judgmental. But cravings, addiction, being addicted to food and sugar, and it's just about discipline, self-control, managing emotions, managing like the stimuli you're receiving, triggers, everything. It's about being aware. So if you aren't even aware that you actually believe that if you miss one meal you're gonna die, you are part of the problem. If you don't believe, if you really still believe in 2024 you need 3 meals a day to exist, you are part of the problem. If you have seen any article or any information about the lack of nutrients in any of these foods and fast food places, and that it's majority your diet, you are a part of the problem. You are contributing to your own demise. You cannot blame corporations. You cannot blame shame. You cannot blame society. You cannot blame external things. If you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I choosing that contributes to the life that I have? And what can I choose that contributes to the life that I want? Then you're at no place to start doing the work to move forward. And you should be okay. You should more so sit. If you can sit there and be okay with at least that part, like, oh, I'm not even there, then you're further along, because now you can accept that it's you. Accept that you don't want to do the work. Accept that you don't want to change your mindset. Accept that you don't trust that you will survive past certain meals. Accept that accept that you're addicted to the sugars, the foods, the stressors, the things that even contribute to you eating the things. So when we can get to these type of points in our lives and in our lifestyles, we can start really implementing and seeing the change we want to see. Even if it's the hardest thing for you to accept about yourself, once you accept it, you already done it. So now you're going to start doing the work to change it, because acceptance is the key. Whether it's accepting that you're a bullshit person and you're not doing the work needed to achieve the goals you were trying to achieve, or if it's accepting accountability, same thing with that, or saying, well, I'm a bullshit person, or not say it like that. You don't gotta say it like that, but I'm the main contributor to my lifestyle and the way I look, appear, whatever. And if I'm not gonna do the work that I know is required, if I'm not gonna pray, if I'm not gonna ask for the guidance and the clarity I need about myself to move forward, then I'm accepting this life, this body, this imagery. I'm accepting that this is what a part, or at least a part of what I may want for myself. Cause